Hello, planners and budgeters. You are in for a treat. On my very first live stream with a special guest. Now, I'm so excited to have her on the show. And if you are on your debt free or your savings journey, no doubt you would have seen and heard her charts or at least seen it in all major social platforms. So let's just get on with the show. Now, from YouTube to Instagram to Pinterest and on Google, her charts have been used by nearly 200,000 people from 143 countries. Can you believe it? How exciting! And it's featured in a lot of budgeting influencers content like Miko Love of the Budget Mum, which was where I first discovered her. Great charts. So, without further ado, let me introduce and let's not waste any more time. Let's bring her on screen and introduce her. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Heidi Nash of Debt Free Charts.
Hello.
Hello, Heidi. Welcome to I started to call it Mariane Cresp Show Live as if I am a nighttime, TV host now. So thank you so much for joining me on my very first live stream with a special guest. How are you today?
Very good, very good. I'm thrilled, but I hope this isn't a problem, but I am hearing an echo, which I didn't hear a few minutes ago. So
Do you have headphones or anything like that that might be able to assist cancel
possibly,
out
hold
those
on,
echo?
let me test something. Sorry, guys, this is
That's
really
okay. That's all right.
unprofessional.
We did do a test earlier, so and we didn't hear anything. So that's what happened when it comes to live shows. These things we sort of work it out. And like I said, it is my first time doing live. But while we're getting Heidi to get her headphones, let's say hello to a few people in the chat. Hello, Elle. She says hello to Heidi and now, Elle Naturally is actually another YouTuber friend of mine where she does beautiful skincare, hair care. So make sure you do check out her channel while you're on YouTube. So it's really great that we have a lot of content creators happening here on our little community. Stephanie, hello. The notification worked. Yes, love it. Your content. Oh, I'm so glad. I know sometimes it doesn't notify you when I'm on. So I'm glad that it is. So Heidi, when you're ready, I can see in the background. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready while I say hello to the lovely community here. Erin, hello, nice to have you here. Thank you so much for joining Heidi and I today. Fantastic. I'm so happy that you guys know these sort of things happen. And do you know the reason why I started doing live stream was because I saw another content creation friends of mine doing it, and there were technical issues, and I didn't mind. So I thought, hey, my own community won't mind, right? Hello, Mima Hope. Hi, thank you so much for joining us. May, hello, how are you? Thank you. I appreciate you all being here and taking time to make sure that you're, watching us today and Heidi. So, like I said, Heidi, her debt-free charts, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, has been downloaded by nearly over 200,000 people in 143 countries. And now I am debt-free, but I still use her charts, and I'll show you a few examples a little bit later on. So, which is fantastic. Glad you're feeling better. Yeah, a lot better today. Still a little bit clogged up, but I'm here. The show must go on, like they say in showbiz. So that's really good. So while we're waiting for Heidi, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you my screen and see if I can get this added on. So there's Heidi. We'll just So all good.
Echoing even with these, so I'll just have to read your lips and make sure I'm hearing the right thing at the right time.
All right. Well, I can't hear on mine either that you're echoing, so hopefully it's not going to bother you too much. The other thing that you might also turn, if you have your iPad on the side, the volume, because I've done that where I'm watching myself on the side and forget to turn the volume off, and I can hear. It's like, why can I hear the echo? But all good. But so Heidi has just released her money games book, which we'll talk about in a little bit later on. So, really, let's just get rid of this. And so now I want to make sure that you guys do stick to the end because we are going to give away a copy of her book to one live stream viewer today. So make sure you do stick together. I'll tell you how you can do that. For those of you that are going to be watching on replay, don't worry, I got you covered too. I'm going to talk to you about later how you can get a chance to win a copy of Heidi's Money Games Debt Freedom book. So now if you are here on live, thank you so much everybody for saying hello and letting me know you're here. And if you are new, make sure to type in new so we can welcome you. Or if you've come over from Debt Free Charts community, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. So let's just get started. Now, Heidi, can you tell us really how did Debt Free Charts get started? What's the story?
Okay. Well, back in I don't know, 2009 or so, we ended up with a lot of debt because we had I'm going to take these off so I don't hear myself echo. We had a lot of debt pile up from a job loss with no emergency fund, which I don't recommend you do. I recommend you have an emergency fund. So we ended up with a good amount of debt, and I'm, doing the spreadsheet, doing the budget and all those things. And being a visual person, I felt like I needed a way to see how far along we were. Like, was I 10%? Was I 15%? How, because you could look at a pile of debt and see the numbers, and you can see the numbers going down, but my brain wanted to know how far along I was. So I made my first chart for myself. And it worked really well. So I shared it on an online forum. This is before Facebook groups and all that stuff. And so people loved it. They downloaded it out of the files on a forum. It was just a free thing. And they started saying, can you make one that says car loan? Can you make one that says student loan? Can you make one that says this and that and that? And so I think I made 20 or 30 of them, stuck them up on an old blogger blog. It was really just terrible with just free download links. And then I started homeschooling, and that kind of got set off to the side. Fast forward to 2017, December, right before Christmas, all the Christmas chaos. And I started getting all these emails that people couldn't download the charts. The links were broken. Oh. And, I got an email or two. I thought, oh, well, I'll fix it later. I started getting a ton of emails and had no idea that all these people were downloading the charts. And so started a Shopify stores because all the link issues, and wanted something really stable and put them all up there. And so that started in December 20th, 2017. I started the Shopify store, and it's just become more and more of a thing. I found it on Instagram. I went looking for photos because I thought all these people were downloading the charts. I should use some user photos of their charts. I went online to see if I could find any. And there was a hashtag on Instagram, and there was hundreds of charts posted on it. So I thought, okay, this is like a God thing. Here, this is your thing. This is, handing it to me on a platter, do this. And so I made the Instagram page and started following and commenting, and it just went crazy from there. I can say it was kind of accidental. I didn't really do it on purpose. But since then I've been, kind of listening to that call and trying to put it out there and trying to get it out to as many people as I possibly can, because I know it helps us visual creative kind of people in a way that the numbers and the spreadsheets never will. So if that's you, this is why the books, that's why it made a book as well, to get it out to even more people. So.
Yes, I think it's Atomic Habits, James Clear's book, Four Laws of Behavior Change, is for you to be able to, whether you're on debt-free journey, savings, you want to lose weight, you want to eat better, is by making it attractive. And I think that's what your debt-free charts has given people. And
Mhm.
I've always said I do a little bit of budgeting, videos here, because I am in Australia, so I have to be careful regarding financial stuff. So I can't give financial advice, but I can show people how I, use charts to track my savings. And I think, having it beautifully, when you're coloring in, I think, as again, highlighters, markers, stickers, and having it visual is what entices people to keep going. Because sometimes savings and debt-free journeys is not the sexiest thing of stuff, so so we got to make it look pretty. And and like I said, I was already out of debt when I first discovered your charts, and the budget mum had it on her, and she does feature quite a few things of
Mhm.
yours. Now, I've also heard that people take your debt-free charts to Dave Ramsey's debt-free screams. Is that right?
They do. It's been on the show several times. Yeah. He signed them. I think they got seen photos of signed by Dave Ramsey charts. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fantastic. That's so good. Now we talked about, and I showed earlier when I was doing my little dance, your book. Oops, where I I lost you, but
That's okay.
yeah. So
I don't mind.
yeah, I think it's this one here. Let me see if I can. Yay! All through over. So this is your book, Money Game. So this is a two-part question, actually. So what made you write the book? Because there are already printable downloads on your
Mhm.
website that people can buy, and why the name Money Games?
Okay, so first, why a book if I have all the downloads? Since the beginning, people have asked if I could print them and send them to them. Some people still to this day will email me 3 weeks after they've made an order and say, I haven't received anything. So I've tried to make it really clear that it's downloads on the website, but I know from those responses that there are some people who want a physical product. Um, I hadn't figured out a way to do that that was budget friendly until this year when I was browsing on Amazon and saw that someone else had taken the idea and made a book out of it. And they were selling really well. And I started getting curious and looked into publishing through Amazon and found that I could put my charts in a book and print it, and it would be $10. People could get it all over the world. And so no brainer. That was like within 2 months, I had the book up online. So it was really fast for me. I hadn't premeditated it. It was just something that showed up, and I decided to just jump when I saw the opportunity. And so that's how I got it up on there. Money Games, the name, I don't really know. It just came to me and I just said that'll work. And I just put it on there. I probably should have done a poll and asked people what they liked about it. But because that first chart, the debt-free land one there on the cover that shows, that was the first like game style one that I did. And that became my most popular chart. So it just kind of made sense in my brain. But if anybody has any other bright ideas for book names, let me know. I'm open.
No, I thought it was like genius, because like we said, uh, trying to tackle all the different amount of debts, whether you're doing the snowball or avalanche type thing, it's you sort of go, well, how can we make it fun? That's why I thought, wow, Money Games, because Heidi and I spoke before the book came out, and I actually wanted her on the show, and she went quiet for a while, and I'm going, where's she gone? And I didn't know the book was coming out, and then when this came out, I went, oh my goodness, that is fabulous, because as a tactile learner, and having a book on hand as well, and to actually also see your journey written down. Now, I know, so let me just quickly show you. Before I discovered you, I think you spoke about, the these were the things that were around. you know, the
Yep.
thermometer, sort of like
Yep.
highlight what.
2009. That's all I could find was thermometer. I thought that is just so boring. It makes me feel like a charity case. I didn't like it.
Exactly. And just the one color, one marker to use when we can
Yeah.
use, there's so many colorful markers out there. So when you said that you were using well, the only thing that was around when you were doing your debt-free journey was the thermometer, I went, yeah, me too. You know, so it's like, oh, if I only knew. But now, actually, so on mine, I use your charts for different goals, you know, for my workout goals. So what sort of apart from, you know, savings and debt-free journey, what
Mm-hmm.
other things have your community used your charts for?
Well, I've over the past few years, a lot of people have used them for health and fitness type goals. It seems like a really good fit. Um, I even made a series of charts that were specifically for health and fitness goals. I ended up retiring those or putting them in the vault because the website was getting confusing and I was getting confusing as to what my purpose was. And so I took those off so I could focus back on the money stuff, which is what I feel like I'm really here for. So those other things, if you're on my email list once or twice a year, I may like have a vault sale and have those available. But for now, I'm just back to money. But yeah, I've gotten requests for chore charts and for food and for cleaning and for travel and for just all kinds of things. So there's just a lot of applications, and a lot of these, if they're not labeled savings or debt, you can use them for anything you want. That's a countable goal. That's a number of steps or, you know, time or days or that kind of thing.
Excellent. Yeah. So with that yearly one, I just put little stickers for workout and everything
Mm-hmm.
like that. So yeah, people can really, if they wanted to, just cover whatever savings or debt free it is. But let's quickly have a look at the chat because we've got quite a few on here. So hello, Claire. Thank you so much for joining us. So Claire is from my community, another content creator. Amy, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you can join Heidi and I in today's show. So make sure if any of you have any questions for Heidi, type it in the chat with the Q so I can quickly spot it. If you are on a debt-free journey or thinking of going and tackling those debts or want to save up, Christmas is not that far away, only 6 months to go. And if you want to buy it before Christmas, really 5 months to go. So if you have got any questions, but I do have more questions for Heidi that we might be able to answer that. Great title, as it sounds fun, right, Amy? I just thought that too. Money games. Make money thing special and fun rather than, you know, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to save up money instead of spending it now and buying all those stickers and washi tapes and planners. The planner community will know how much, you know.
Yeah.
Claire, fun to see you here. So everyone, I love that you guys are chatting as well in the chat section. Yeah, isn't it, Claire? This is fantastic. And to get knowledge from someone who has been through it, and I guess that's where, with your journey, I think that's where it resonates with a lot of people is because you have done it as well. You're not just making products that you think people may want. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a true, tried and true, tested concept. And I love that you're listening to the community and finding out ways. Because I see you on Instagram, you know, doing lots of polls. So that is fantastic. I really love that. So really. Thank you so much for those wonderful chats. So make sure ask a question. Oh, here's one from Mima. How do I decide where to start? I have so many credit cards with balances. So what I'll do is I'll leave this to Heidi. So because of course in Australia, very careful. I don't want to get shut down or anything. But I guess I can do general, you know, advice. But Heidi, where do you think Mima should start with so many credit cards?
Well, what I did for our stuff, when we had a whole bunch of credit cards, I looked at what the debt snowball, which is the Dave Ramsey kind of way to do it by ordering things from smallest balance to largest. And then I took a good look at that and just made a choice as to what went first and what went next. It makes sense in my brain to pay off the highest interest rate first. But when those are big balances, it's just a lot harder to get through. If you choose to do it that way, for sure use a tracker, because you'll feel that progress, even though the balance is, not, it's still a larger balance. You will notice that you're making some progress. But in all honesty, I just picked what made the most sense for me, and I just went. I tried not to hem and haw over what went first, because in the long run, it doesn't matter what goes first as long as you get through them all. So you could do the one that annoys you the most first. You could do the one that will be the fastest to get rid of first. You could do the one that's most embarrassing first. Whatever, however it works for you. There's truly, honestly, no one way to do it. The key is just to continue until you get it all done. So whichever way you think you can set it up that makes it easiest for you to make it, that's what I would suggest.
Yes, I love that suggestion. I actually recently, I still listen to Dave Ramsey, so that it actually to make sure that I don't put myself back into debt when I hear other people. It's like, oh my God, imagine if I'll go to my husband and go, imagine if we're still in debt. But I love that idea of there are, the snowball effect, smallest to largest, and the avalanche. I think it's the biggest two, or the biggest to smallest.
Biggest interest rate.
Interest rate, yeah. But I like when you had said that the one that may annoy you, or the one that may embarrass you, that every time you have to pay that, that it reminds you of a silly purchase. So I love that tip, where have a structure of which one you want, but what makes sense for you, because sometimes there's this thing of Dave Ramsey-ish, and I know also the Budget Mom has a different philosophy with regards to that. So I think what makes sense to you, for us, that I listed ours from smallest to largest, but one of the smaller ones, let's say, was my parents, and so I knew they weren't really expecting that yet, so we left that till the end. So make sure it's something that it feels good for you. But I think that's why the trackers are good, because then you can see it, getting knocked off bit by bit. So Nobu says, love that tip to use a tracker for sure. Visual allows you to see your progress. And I think Peter Drucker said, what you track, you make progress on. So that's really, really important. A bit of a charge, and prioritize ones that kept me out of trouble the best. Exactly. Mima says, thank you so much for your tip there. And it's really strange, because we never got taught, how to manage money at school. We got taught algebra. I mean, I don't use algebra now. I mean, fine, all that scholastic stuff and academic stuff, but I think teaching our young kids to be financially responsible is something that's really, really important. It's such a good way to put it. Excellent. So you guys I'm loving this. Remember, thank you so much, Nobu. Yes, make sure, if you are getting value from today's video and loving Heidi's tips, and make sure to hit the thumbs up button. So the next question I have for you is, so here on my channel, I track my habits, my wellness, and making sure we're looking after ourselves and taking breaks as part of my own personal planning. And, I hope to inspire others to do the same and look after their self-care. So I see the benefits of tracking things like that. So what's the benefit that you've seen where tracking your debt on debt-free chart like you have, or now that people can buy the book, what's benefit have you seen, or what your community have told you using your charts have done for them?
Whenever I get asked this question, I'm always reminded of one of the very first comments I got after I put up the website, and somebody said, I just needed it to be cute. I can do it now. Something so simple as making it cute and making it something that you're looking forward to filling in. It really is surprising to people how well it works to, I'd rather skip the coffee out if I can color in another square. It places that dopamine hit from whatever you want to spend money on to a dopamine hit when you color in your chart. So for a lot of people, it once they start a chart, there's no going back. It's just they have to do it all the time because that gives them that satisfaction that they don't get by just hitting a send payment thing, on the computer. You watch the number go down, but it doesn't feel real until you color in your chart.
Exactly. It's a fleeting moment.
That's one of the best things is it gives you that dopamine. Yeah.
And also, it's a self-care moment, isn't it? When you're coloring those the stepping stones or the flowers, and you've got all these wonderful doodle charts too. You can actually just, like I said, for me, that's I'm still, of course, trying to save some money for home deposits, but some of those charts can be just like, oh, it's time for a me time, so let me color in a succulent as part of my 5-minute break. So it's wonderful that, yes, it is a money games, a debt-free journey or savings, but people can use your trackers for more than just money stuff, which is wonderful.
Yes.
And is that what you're getting from your community? What sort of vibe are you getting from them?
Yeah, people do use them for a lot of things. Tracking their water every day, that they just drink enough water. You can color for that. You go for a walk. You just how many days you skip the drive-through. People use them for no spend a lot. That kind of thing. So anything that you want to improve that is a measurable thing that you can track by time or by day or by hour, it doesn't have to be just money. And you can track so many things. And, it's people that do like journals and track bullet journals and just all that kind of stuff that you could track so many things, not just your mood. You could track everything. I wouldn't track everything at once. Yeah. I would pick one or two things to track that are super important to you right now. Because you can get overwhelmed really fast if you have too many things to track. I'm impressed by you, Mariane, all the things you're tracking and that you post almost every day, and you're tracking your habits and all those things. And you can totally do that, but I'd work up to it.
Oh, for sure. That's what I always tell people. How do I get to where you are? But I started bullet journaling back in 2017, and I had that feeling of, watching all those established YouTubers with their beautifully curated pages, and then it's sort of like you have to step back and, like you said earlier, you've got to do what works for you, one little step at a time. And actually, speaking of, these type of goals, when it comes to money goals, as Mima said earlier, it's like wanting to know where to start with credit cards. But with money goals, what are the steps that you would recommend our viewers and those who later who will be watching on replay? What do you recommend that the steps they take to crush their money goals, whether they want to get out of debt or save or sinking funds? What would you suggest for them?
Well, I would say that after the first easy wins of like trimming the budget down a little bit, trimming out the fat, there's only so far you can go down in cutting your budget. I liked to focus on increasing our income, because your income top is usually way more, there's way more air for you to go up than there is for you to cut, for most people. And so working on increasing your income for one. Another thing that we did that worked really good is setting up automatic transfers to separate savings accounts for like our sinking funds. I didn't have to remember to do it. And when I saw the checking account and the amount there, excuse me, all the sinking fund money is already out. So I knew, it's down at that automatically down. Now it wasn't a lot, it might've been just $100 a month or $100 a paycheck or whatever, but it's something that, you look a few months later and you think, wow, look how much money I saved. And you didn't have to remember to do it. So I think that's really important for most people, unless you've already have that habit of saving money separately. But, and then one other thing I did that I don't see a lot of people talking about is pre-plan what you want to do with surprise money. because everybody has surprise money show up, whether you get a bonus you weren't expecting, or somebody gives you money for a birthday, or you can return something that you didn't need and there's all this extra money. If I didn't plan ahead for what I wanted to do with extra, I would have just like spent it on, I'm going to go out to dinner. Oh, look, hey, I got $20. Let's go out to lunch. Now it costs $40 to go out to lunch, it seems like. But plan ahead. I made a page. It's in a separate thing in my big finance pack that's about planning ahead for different amounts of money that surprise you, from $100 to thousands of dollars, because sometimes big surprises happen. Tax refunds. You sell something big that you didn't realize was a big deal, and you get a lot of money for it. And even an inheritance, up to those big things. Know ahead what you're going to do with it, to be smart with it from the beginning. Otherwise, you wake up and it's all gone.
Love those answers. So just to recap, of course, try and cut down some budget items that I do like the way you said that, cutting. Sometimes I look at our grocery budget, and with 2 teenage boys, I can't cut. We're actually having to increase it more and more. And so I'm like going to my husband, why is our money already gone before the next set amount of grocery money? But there's some things you can't cut down. You can't suddenly, I always say, well, all right, don't buy my brie cheese this week. And then I'll go, well, how come there's no snack for me? But I love that you can try and see what else, side hustles and increasing your income. So that's fantastic. You also talked about doing some direct, transfers, which is good, because sometimes when the money is there, we think we're allowed to use it. Of course, it's our money, but then you got to think ahead, and like you said, plan ahead of things to do with your money. Just because it's there doesn't mean you spend it down to zero. So those are some really fantastic tips to crush money goals. And like I said earlier, we don't get taught this. We just see money. Where before I started, getting through financial freedom and stuff like that, when money comes in, I was always rich, get paid, every 2 weeks when in my 20s. First week I was rich. Second week I was eating pack of noodles, and then Thursday night, I'm like checking the bank account to see if my, the pay would go in. Pays in. All right, shots for everybody, irresponsible single 20-year-old just go shots for everybody, drinks, and then you go wake up on a Monday and go, did I spend that much on, dinner, alcohol, and everything else? So I love that pre-planning. And here in Australia, the end of our financial year finishes in June, so everyone's going to have to submit their tax return. So that is a great tip of know exactly where that money's going to go, instead of thinking that you've, woohoo, I've won the lotto. So which is fantastic. Everyone's chatting in the chat, so here we go. Remember, yep. Here we. Oh, separate from emotion. Yeah, and tackle head first. My husband in fab with finances, so I'm thankful for that consistency now. Really important. I know my husband, same thing. He's more, it's like whatever you decide, but that's really important that we also work together as a team to make sure that we're both on the same goals. So someone might be a little bit more, numbers savvy than the other, but it's really, really important that, you're both on the same goal. So fantastic, Amy. I love that hubby is, the finance guru. Dopamine hits for positive action. So that's exactly that, coloring in instead of just paying it off and not seeing your progress. So debt-free charts are the way to go when it comes to debt payment and savings as well. I love that you reference it also as self-care. Yeah, really important that, because one of the things that really stresses out, and Heidi, I'm sure you would have seen this in your community, is money stress. It just sort of overtakes, a lot of things when you're trying to figure out where are we going to get the money for this, or where are we going to get the money to pay for that. I mean, what are your thoughts with regarding to using, debt payment and savings as a part of you're looking after yourself mentally as well.
Yeah, I think it's for sure a big part of it. And I think a lot of more people are noticing these days that money stress is one of the biggest things, especially with inflation really bad, and credit card in the US, credit card debt is at an all-time high now. It went down the last couple of years, and now it just bounced straight back up, and it's higher than ever. And so I know that it's a big stressor for a lot of people. And the nice thing about the charts too is it kind of blends that self-care of just coloring. Even just coloring is a stress reliever, but then you add that on top of you're reaching your goals while you're coloring. I say it's a perfect marriage between a planner and a coloring book. So it really hits both of those things where you get that self-care stress relief out of the coloring, as well as reaching your goals as you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean these things breaking, like just using some of them. Look at these guys. Look at these cupcakes. Imagine if you're having to go and just take that break, instead of scrolling through your phone, open up your money games book, or you can also download these as printable downloads, and just using your colorful markers, getting your highlighters and coloring each and every one different color. I always say that planning and budgeting and things like this will help you have something to focus on, because sometimes we listen to the thoughts that's between our ears that sometimes may bring us down, but just having something to focus on allows you to give your emotions some space. And so when you are ready to tackle it, you're in a better frame of mind, and that fight or flight, because now you've relaxed yourself, your heart rate is down, so your nervous system doesn't think that, what do I got to do next, what do I got to do next? And coloring in at the same time as trying to hit some goals, whether money goals or health goals, is a fantastic way to look after yourself. So great point there, Amy. I love that. Now Katie asks, would you think about doing a kid's savings book or charts?
That's a great question. And yes, I am thinking about doing one. And I'll let you guys in on the idea for the name of the book. How about for kids? How about calling it Fun Money?
Fun
Is that
money.
silly? Or should it just be Money Games for Kids? I'd love to know your opinion on that.
Fun money sounds good. You have to do a poll. You have to do a poll on your on Instagram.
But yes, I've gotten requests for ones for kids and requests for. I am going to do this same book. I'm going to do like a duplicate of it, but for couples, because a lot of these say I saved my starter emergency fund. I'm going to change it to we saved to starter emergency fund. So I'm going to do another version, but for couples, so they don't have just an I on them. They're all we.
Yeah, I love that, because I know sometimes when I say I got myself out of there, well, it's like, no, my husband and I, or our family, because even my boys had to sacrifice a few things. My younger one would have to say, we can't buy that, that's expensive. And I'm going, oh, I don't want that to be part of his dialogue that, throughout his young years, that mom says, no, we can't buy that because it's too expensive. Yeah. So fantastic question there, Katie. Nobu says, might need to get one to track skipping Starbucks runs.
Yeah, that's great. Color in the cupcakes for that.
Exactly. I used to work at a Starbucks here in Australia, and when I go back to buy stuff, I'm there going, oh my God, they're so expensive, because of course, you get the staff discount. And my young one loves the chocolate frappuccino. So yeah, they can get expensive. But with that one, Nobu, just make sure that you don't cut it so much that then, it's sort of like one of those things that if you can't have it, you have it more often. So that's always the thing of give yourself treats. But yeah, those ones where no Starbucks today, and coloring in the charts is really good. Now,
I learned to use this, be picky about my treats, and use treats that really mattered, that I really cared about. And I skipped the other stuff that was just like a habit, the habit treats like Starbucks. So we really trimmed back on that because, I didn't really care that much about it. It was just convenient. And so that was an easy one to cut out for me. And I choose the ones we kept very wisely.
Exactly, and then make sure you still give yourself those treats, because again, that dopamine hit. Of course, probably not treat yourself to something too tasty and too fattening if you're trying to lose weight. Maybe something else. Maybe new shoes, new pair of running shoes. But after 3 6 months, grab yourself a new pair of running shoes. Amy from Motive Music says took a vehicle off the road this year to save money. It saves fuel, insurance, winter tires, and less spending on the road. And a lot of these things, Heidi, it's not a forever thing, is it? It's like it- you know that it's for a season. Like a lot of things, you sort of got to tighten up the budget belt for a season. And I think what happens when you do start seeing progress and seeing you knocking off those debts, or those savings trackers start to get filled up, that it becomes a habit then. So later on, it's not so much now that you're not going without, that you're actually more, like you said, planning ahead. So if you want to go on holiday, it doesn't mean you can't. It's just you've got to plan it ahead of time, as well as trying to weigh what is the top priority for you. So have you gotten anything from your community where they say to you, so I mean, the next question I had is, what is your advice for those that fall off the wagon? If they fall off the debt-free journey wagon, they're coloring in, and then suddenly it's only a quarter filled or halfway filled. I know for a lot of my community, they do get upset with themselves if they don't complete something. What's your tip about what to do if they do fall off that debt-free or savings wagon?
Well, I think a lot of it is realizing that that's normal. And I don't know of anyone in person in my real life. I don't know about people in my community specifically, but I don't know of anybody that's done it straight through and not fallen off and messed up and had to back up and kind of restart a time or two or three, even depending on how big the emergencies are that show up that can throw you off your game. So I think when you feel like you're about ready to start again, starting fresh and not pulling out the old. If you started charts and then you stopped doing them, I would start a brand new chart that's blank, but use your original debt amount, so that when you start a brand new chart and you're starting from zero and you're coloring all the progress you've already made. And rather than starting where you are and only getting to color in this much and then this much and then this much, start from the beginning and cut it anywhere you are on your debt-free journey. Honestly, even if you haven't fallen off, if you've been paying off for a while and haven't used a chart to do it, if you can find your original starting balance, use that for your chart number and color in all the way up to where you are now. It'll give you a real boost. And I think that's good when you fall off the wagon as well, to start a fresh chart, fresh colors, new design even, and have fun coloring for a while, and with each square color it in, and reaffirm that you can do this. Look how far you've already come. And it's it wasn't that hard. It wasn't so hard that it was life changing and you can't ever do that again. Sometimes you get halfway through a chart and you realize that wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I just had to keep going. There are hard days, and sometimes there's a hard month, but it's not the whole thing is hard. Sometimes it's just easy to just do it and you're just not thinking about it. So I think when you get to that point where it's just kind of an autopilot and you're just keeping up with it, that it really will give you some momentum. And I think the more you see colored in on your chart, the more momentum you'll feel, and the more you'll believe that you'll automatically get to the end if you just don't stop. Even if you stop for a time, but you come back to it. It doesn't have to. It won't win. You have to win. You'll win. That's why I made them all games. Especially if you're competitive at all. You want to win, and when you fall off, just start again. Get back in and do a new chart and make it fun. There's other ways too. You don't have to only use charts. Use big paper chains. Use marbles in a jar every time you make a payment. I've seen someone had a big jar of bubble gum.
Oh,
So they're removing the bubble gum. And I always like those when you have two, so you can see what you've done, moved into, you know, so you got the big debt, and then every time you pay off, I don't know, $100, you moved a bubble ball into the other jar, or a marble, or whatever it is, because you can see the balance change. I'm not as big of a fan as those, like the paper chain, where you're just removing, because you can't really see how far you've come. That's why I like the charts, because you can see how far you've come. And when you see what you've done in 1 year, you're like, yeah, I can do that again.
exactly. I love that, and I think we have to be kind to ourselves. And it is so difficult sometimes to be kind to ourselves. And when we've fallen off savings, debt-free journey, or any habits that we're trying to do. When we see others, or we only see all the good stuff that others are showing on Instagram, on Pinterest. But I think that's why it's important that we also show the other side, that I don't get everything done. I'm a planning lady that don't plan for a whole week. It's important to also know when those things you do fall off your payment or your savings, that at the time other higher priority were had to be addressed. So I like what Amy says. 1% better from James Clear. Improving any habits by a small percentage consistently will still be amazing. And just because you stop for a little bit doesn't mean you failed. It's just that you pick yourself up and you start again. So I do really love that. It's important that different seasons, you might be busy, you might have to spend a few things. So if you have to go and the children's sports activity, or whatever activity that they have might take up a little bit more of your budget, it doesn't mean that you have failed. So I love that you just pick a new debt-free chart, so then color it in again to see where the progress you've made, and then that'll get you back excited and make a really great thing. Wow. Oh my God, Marcus, thank you so much for your super. Oh, I do appreciate. So Marcus is another content creator. I have a lot of content creators here that join us, Heidi. So it's been really good that you're seeing a lot of them, because it's really important that we support each other as well. And Marcus is a great supporter of mine. And I just get I'm just so appreciative, especially, you was my very first guest, taking time out of your because I know you're promoting the book. And I said to Heidi earlier, it's like, oh my God, I'm talking to a celebrity. So it's really exciting. So I do appreciate all of you that are here. So now there is a thing that I on your website, so let me see if I can get this added onto the screen. So debtfreecharts.com, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yep. So she has not only the Money Games print book, but individual printable download. But a lot of these downloads that you have are free. So you are so generous with a lot of these debt-free charts and other charts that you have provided. Can I ask the reason why you have provided so much to your community?
Well, back when I first started this website, I had come from the Blogger website where everything was free anyway. So when I had to build this new website, I made a commitment that I'm always going to have free stuff, because when we started getting out of debt, 2 pennies mattered. So I know that there's people out there that are at a place similar to where we were, and there really isn't an extra dollar or two. So I always want to make sure that I have free charts. So the charts for paying off your debt are free on the website. If that's where you're starting, you don't need to buy the book. You can just go to the website and get some free debt payoff charts and get started. And when you get a little room in your budget, come back and buy some of the savings charts. My goal is to help 1 million people with this. So we're at 200,000, so we're on the way. And I'm excited, and hopefully the book will reach even more people who haven't seen it online. Will see it on Amazon. And I'm excited that the book's available all over the world. Anywhere that Amazon prints, you can get it. And you don't have to pay international shipping. So that's fantastic.
That is great news. Now, of course, not everyone has the luxury of having home printers. So your new book, MoneyGram, is actually there's something that they can access with it if they do have a printer at home. So they can purchase the print book, which is great because you can pop it on your shelf and take it out when you're ready to have your self care, when you're knocking off those debts or your savings. But there is a lovely, and I think another generous thing that you've done. What is that extra feature that maybe digital planners and budgeters might find very useful? So what's in this?
Well, what you get when you purchase this book is inside there's a coupon code. So you can go get the digital version free. So you can get the ebook version. You can use it in notes or other apps on your tablet, or you can print off the individual pages of your favorites. If you have a favorite one in here and you man, I wish I had 10 of that because I, want to give them to each one to my 10 children. I don't know, but you can reprint them as many times as you want at home. So you get that free when you buy the book. There's a coupon code in the book, and you can get it downloaded for free.
And yes, and then it relates to that bit where you feel like you may have fallen off the wagon, that you can print another one and then and put the a new goal. So maybe if your goal was a little bit too high or a little bit too low, you can print a new one. When I saw this, and I actually just downloaded the printable version because, as you know, I'm an A5 planner, and being able to have it inside my planner is a great option. So this is the one that I first got, which was, and anytime I do a reel of your trackers, gets like thousands of views and plays. So everyone's like, "Where'd you get that?" And it's like, first of all, you sort of go, well, please read the caption, because it's from Heidi's Debt-Free Charts, and they just love it. And again, I think it's that colorful nature and having to color in what you're coloring in stuff when you're trying to get rid of your debt. What is this whole thing, for those who may not know of this? Now, I mean, let us know in the chat if you are on a debt-free or savings journey, and if this is something that you will get a kick out of. So so a lot of people are thinking the option of having a digital download in there is fantastic. You're just so generous, and I love that, where sometimes you sort of go, well, if people are trying to get out of debt, I want to help them. I don't want them spending money, because we're here trying to motivate them to make sure to knock off their debt. So I love that you have given a lot of free things to your community. And I'm going to let everyone know a little bit later where they can find you. But I mean, question of the day is, if you're on a debt-free journey, let us know in the chat. Or if you want to save for Christmas, if you haven't saved up for Christmas, Christmas comes at the same time every year. And, if you can, try not to put any of your gifts on credit card, because you don't want to, Christmas has come and gone and you're still paying for the kid's scooter, so it's important to plan ahead. And sometimes I think the difficult thing is that, because we are so accustomed to making sure our family have a good Christmas, that we spend a lot, and we don't realize, especially if we do have kids, that the kids don't, they don't care that the presents that they get isn't the most expensive. It's just having that ability to open stuff on Christmas. What are your thoughts with regards to saving up for Christmas? Because I know your Christmas trackers are hit with the community.
Yeah, Christmas is one of the things that shouldn't be a surprise, but for some reason, for most of us, it kind of is. We don't think about it until November. So that's why I wanted to make sure that those 4 charts were in the book, because that's it's a no-brainer. Everybody has to spend money on Christmas. Maybe not everybody has a car loan. Maybe not everybody's going to go traveling, but pretty much everybody spends money on Christmas. So I want to make sure that those were in there. And I made 4 because sometimes you want like travel money for Christmas. In the US especially, we have to travel a long way sometimes for Christmas, to spend Christmas with families. So there's several charts in there, so you can save for different kinds of things. and don't let it sneak up on you again this year, because it doesn't take that much a month to. I mean, even if even if you don't save up enough to cover all of your Christmas, if you save up and cover half of it from ahead, you're way better off than you were in years past.
Exactly. Even like putting maybe, $10 every paycheck, or, $20. And then that could be for the Christmas wrappings and the cards. I mean, greeting cards here in Australia, sometimes you open, it's like, $7.95. And they're going, I'd actually rather make my own. And that's another good tip is, because Heidi's actually a designer, a crafter. So, make your own Christmas cards this year. So then that $7.95, that could be part of their present, So, and wrapping paper, it can be so expensive, or those gift bags. And so those little incidental expenses that you don't think are ahead of hits the budget. Or if you've got, friends coming over and you buy the tin of chocolates, they add up, don't they? So having, even just saving a little bit before Christmas comes along is a great, you're way ahead already.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, if you are liking and getting value in today's video, make sure you do hit that like button. And if you or anyone else is on a savings or debt-free journey, make sure to share this video, because Heidi has given us a lot of tips on, what to do when you fall off the wagon, money crushing your money goals, as well as those, planning ahead. So it's important that these things, like I said earlier, we don't get taught financial freedom and, simple budget routines, really. So it's important that we share these type of information with each other. Now, before we go on, like I said, there is an opportunity for one of you to win her book. So let me see if I can get this right. So hopefully this works, because this is the first time I'm going to do this. So enter in the chat #moneygames as you see it there, and then we will pick a winner. So we'll give you a chance to enter your the money. So #moneygames. Now you only need to type it once. So and so entering more than once actually doesn't do anything. So make sure you type money games as you see it. Now while we get people to enter the giveaway for the Money Games book, Heidi, are there any other, like you hinted about maybe a couple's version of Money Games, also that a kid's version of the book, but any other new projects that you can share with us, or that you might want the community's input in? Because I love that you're getting a lot of the input from your community of what they want, rather than what you think they might want. So anything you can share with us?
Well, aside from the kids one that I'm planning to do, as well as the couples one, I did poll my audience I think last week, and the one that they actually wanted the most was a book of just all savings goals, like for retirement type and like big emergency fund type. So that's also on the list. I'll be honest, I got about 20 ideas on the list, so I'm going to have to narrow them down. But for this year, I think that those will probably be the likely 4 that will be added. I could just ramble on it forever, so I don't want to take all the time to do that. But
yeah. So yes, I'm seeing that we are on the top of the hour, and I don't want to take up any more of Heidi's time, because I know she's very busy. But come on, guys, free copy of Money Games book will be sent to you. So this is my one. Heidi has been so generous in gifting me one to give away to one lucky winner. So enter in Money Games in the chat as you see it, and then what will happen is I will shift this one to you wherever you are in the world. So we want you to also be on a debt-free journey if you have debts, or saving up for Christmas, or taking the time to make sure that you are looking after yourself by coloring in these games. Now let me just quickly remove this for a second. So Heidi, can you let the people know where they can find you?
Well, you can find my book on Amazon, all over the world. Just I would use the search term "money games Heidi," and it'll come up for you. You can also find the website at debtfreecharts.com for the free downloads for the debt payoff charts and all the savings charts, and lots of cool bundles and all kinds of stuff. If you want a lot of savings, if you got a lot of savings goals, I got a lot of saving charts for you.
Fantastic. So I already, so you can find her on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. If you,
Oh yeah,
yeah, a lot of people have, if you ever try and figure out, because I'm not very good with colors, so I always go with the rainbow colors. But if you want to see different colorways, Pinterest have so many of her debt-free charts on there that people have tagged her. So if you want to, you've got beautiful, colorful markers that's muted, that's highlights. Just do check her out there. And like she said, debtfreecharts.com. So just and Money Games, you can find her on Amazon. So I have that all linked in the description below. So all right, so let's see who will win this. Let's hopefully this works. Oh, I love it. Lisa. I love that. It's like it's so.
That was great.
Lisa, oh my goodness, you've won. Yeah, I love it. It's like that anticipation. Now, Lisa, make sure to please email our support team, which is me. Support at mariannecresp.com. I like to make myself look big and like it's me, everybody. I do everything here in the background. But so Lisa, please email me at support at mariannecresp.com, and I'll have a chat to you via email and get all your details. But for those of you that are joining me on the replay, like I said, I'm going to look after you as well, because I do have another book available to give away on Instagram. So I'm going to do that a little bit later this afternoon. So make sure that, I tag Heidi and I tag Debt Free Charts. So you don't miss out if you have joined us a bit late, or, you are watching on replay, because I know with all these different time zones, Heidi, everyone's at a different thing. So woohoo, Lisa! Excellent. Oh, fantastic. I love it. I love everyone cheering everybody on. Thank you so much. So make sure, email me, Lisa, at support at mariannecresp.com. Now, is there anything else you would like to share with us, Heidi, with regards to your book and your debt-free charts that we might have missed today?
Well, I had two thoughts. One is that this is a fantastic way to get your kids involved in your money and in your goals without overwhelming them. It's something that's fun and they can color in, and it helps them understand when you say no to something, and they don't complain so much when they know, well, that money's going to go to our trip to the beach this summer instead, and they get that, and they're much more willing to play along. And the other thing that it does is it can get spouses on board if they don't think it's something that's possible, or if they're just really a number person, or they just don't feel like it's for them. But then they see this chart on the refrigerator and you're filling it in, and they look at it and they go, did we do that? Really? And they didn't notice anything different in their life. Their life went on, and they don't feel like they were not spending money on anything. And all of a sudden they realize, wow, we can do this. And so that I've heard from a lot of people that it gets the spouse on board, it gets the whole family involved in your money goals. And it's so much easier to reach your goals when everybody in your circle, in your tight circle, is cheering you on.
Exactly. But bringing them in, and they see as well that you're cheering on, that we're knocking debt. Maybe they might not understand about debt or savings and the bigger picture, but then they can understand that we have a goal together, and that, it's not so much that we're not going without, but that we're going to have, what we're doing now is we're setting ourselves up in the future, so we don't, I always say I don't want my children, my your older son is 15, I don't us you know I don't want him having to go when he's 30s. I wish I didn't, I wish I saved some money. So I love that tip, that getting the kids involved in your financial freedom journey is important, and then they're not, they don't go, why can't I, that we hear a lot of the children, if they know what we're doing this for our family, or we're saving up, we can't have that now because we're going to go on a holiday at the end of the year, then they're a lot more on board with it. So thank you so much, Heidi, for your time. I appreciate you coming to my very
Thank
first
you for
live.
inviting.
Oh my
It was
good,
really
oh my
good.
good. It went well. What do you think, guys? I think Heidi did well. We did well. There was no technical issues for, the major technical issues. So I do appreciate you so much, Heidi. And you're now going to go on my wall of, fame, where my very first on the Mariane Cresp show live. Later, you and I, in probably 5 years' time, we'll go and reminisce and say I was on her first live show. So thank
Sounds
you so
great.
much. Make sure everybody to give Heidi the love by putting in the chat heart emojis, love emojis. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, Heidi. Now, what you guys need to do next is watch this video on how I use zero-based budgeting to help know where your money is going, rather than wondering where it went. So click the description below. I think I haven't put that yet, but after the show, I'll put the description to this video, or click or tap the next screen. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all, and I love you for all being here. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.